Okay, this is going to be fun. So this is the tornado. Let's just check the volume levels, make sure you can hear me. Okay, so I'm quite quiet for some reason. Known only to the Windows sound drivers. That's showing 100%. I'm just going to pull my microphone. I've had this so many times recently. Okay, is it any better? It's a little bit better, but it's not as good as it could be. And the USB drivers just went absolutely nuts and kicked me across the aeroplane. Okay, so we'll make do. So this is the tornado. If we have a look outside, actually, shall I go and get the bear with me for a moment. I'm going to plug in the Xbox controller so we can go and have a look around the outside of the aeroplane. I'm completely unprepared. I don't think anybody ever realises actually to do these like look-arounds using the Xbox controller and have a headset on and have all the controls in and to monitor a live stream. The desk ends up looking like Spaghetti Junction with wires absolutely everywhere. Okay, so we get rid of the not telephoto, panoramic. Here we go. So we have a tornado at last in Flight Simulator. It has a default loadout. I've just been reading the PDF that the PDF that didn't come with it. I bought it from Sim Market. They have given you no documentation with it. I actually then went to Orbex, who were freely giving away the documentation for it, written by IndiaFoxtEcho. But having said that, it's some of the poorest documentation I think I've seen. It's full of really great information, but it's very, very difficult to follow with no real good diagrams of where switches are. See, it's just taken me an hour to go around the cockpit, kind of reading labels on things and looking them up and blindly searching them in the PDF. It's very, very... it's not intuitive, let's put it that way. There's a ton of information in the book and it goes on for hundreds of pages. But the learning curve is going to be incredibly steep. And it's going to take probably the likes of the professional ex-servicemen that flew the Tornadoes that have got YouTube channels to go through and explain what all the switches do, because the guide that comes with it is almost unfollowable. I don't know if they'll be allowed to explain it all though, if that makes sense. They might have to check what they're allowed to share and what they're not. So we are at RAF Coningsby, by the way, so that's why you can see Eurofighters all over the place around us. So we go and have a look around. We're parked in amongst the Eurofighters on the edge of the base. There's a Lightning parked over there on the grass behind us. So we're going to work through getting this thing up and running, which shouldn't take too long. We're going to be guided mostly actually by the enunciation panel within the cockpit. So let's go and jump inside. And you can see the Xbox stick is drifting immediately. We're being thrown every curveball possible, aren't we? Right. So first things first, if you click under here, unless you know what every switch, dial and knob does in the aircraft, you have got no hope. So this gives you a way of getting around that to a certain extent. So we can go to the external section, that we can toggle the external power, and that puts the, or it should.
Roger.
We'll plug in the external power unit over there. We don't need to do too much else around here. If we come back out of here, we can go and select loadout. We'll go for
Roger.
a clean configuration of the aircraft. So that's just got rid of all the stores. So we've got a clean Tornado to play with. And then you can come back. Oh, we've gone too far now. And we can go into the back seat, and we can ask him to do the pre-flight checks. And it'll take him a while to do that. So while we're waiting for him to do that, we can go and play with some things ourselves. So we can go and turn on the APU. Okay, and as soon as you have power to the aircraft, obviously this lights up like a Christmas tree, so you can turn the generators on now. You can also go and turn on the hydraulics. I don't think they'll work though really properly until the engines are up and running. So you've got various things that you can go and switch on around the place. And I'm going to have to follow my nose, I'm afraid, to do that, or to do a lot of it. Can put the terrain following radar to standby. We can go and turn the anti-collision lights on, and we'll turn all the lights on while we're here. Actually, let's go and turn IFF on while we're here. Going to put it over to normal. I'm going to go and turn off the accessibility, because the tooltips, I was using it trying to find my way around the cockpit, and it's pretty useless. That's the wrong thing, isn't it? Tooltips off, apply, go back, resume.
External power, or APU start.
Okay, so has that gone away? Yes, it has. So if we go back in here.
Roger, starting internal checks.
It takes them a while to do all the various checks. So you can get rid of the stick out of the way by clicking a non-determinate point down here. You have to, I think it's the second screw, yeah. So there's various things you can do down here. So battery mask goes on. I think this is kind of a cheap panel, to be honest, but pitot heat can go on. And we can start the engines really. So we need to, you'll notice there's some shut-offs here. If you move your throttles, it will move them out of shut-off. So go right engine first. If we look over here, you'll see the RPM coming up.
The main computer is now on.
So if we go and skip through to the back, you can actually see we have a crewman and he's actually doing things. So the system's coming online as we speak.
Starting IN alignment.
So engine's coming up. Let's go and check the volume levels. Just turning him down a little bit. Okay, sounds okay. So obviously half the reason it's so noisy is because we have the canopy open.
Looks like we do not have a flight plan.
No, we don't have a flight plan. We're going to go and fly all over the place for fun. Okay. So spills is over here. Maybe we need both engines before that will work. So let's go
MDC pin stowed.
left engine. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how much the professional pilots can share. None of them have shown the startup sequence, or not that I'm aware of. They've all shown it from in-flight. I think they'll probably be okay with showing how to fire it up. It'll be anything to do with weapon systems or strategy or tactics. I know CJ Lemoyne, the F-16, F-18 pilot on YouTube, is very, very wary about showing anything in detail or anything to do with strategy. Okay, so we want the generator lights have gone out now, that's good. So now we have both engines. Will this operate? Yes, it will. Then we get the oxygen. Now we've got the canopy closed, of course, so oxygen's over here. And the ECS, which is the environmental control system, which is over here. So we turn, I think we just have to turn the air master system on. So radar altimeter
set and ready to go.
Okay, so if we come back in here and go back into the WSO. Okay, he's still doing stuff. Do we have to do anything in here? No, we're not setting destinations. But we can go into the alignment. No, we can't. Or can we? Force perfect alignment. Yeah, let's do that just for this test flight. And we can't get out now. I've noticed this earlier actually. You sometimes can't get out of the system. They've made this bizarre thing where you have to click on the letters. You'll see the mouse changing as you go over the letters. This is the same is true of the F-14 that uses a similar system. It's like the heat blur style selection menu. Nothing in there yet, no.
IN alignment in progress.
Okay, we're waiting. It takes a little while for everything to happen. We can get, I think, yeah, we're running the generators now, so we can go and get rid of the cart. So ground service, toggle the external power.
Roger.
Yeah, because the systems haven't come on in here yet.
IN status is okay. Switching to nav mode.
Okay, so we should see stuff coming on soon. Can we ask him to do pre-takeoff checks yet? No. So yeah, I basically sat here for an hour so far, just going round and round in circles, finding out by trial and error because the documentation is so poor.
Checks complete.
Okay, so we should be able to come back up here now. Say done on that. Pre-flight initial checks, we did that, didn't we?
Roger, starting pre-taxi checks.
There we go.
The Ejection seat pin stowed. Clear to taxi.
Hurrah! Okay, so let's put the head tracking on, center it up. So you have to map a button for nose wheel steering, and there's a light that appears there. Did you see that low come on? That means the low rate. There's a low and a high rate for the nose wheel steering, so you can toggle between them or turn it off completely. So we'll go low. Let's go and release the parking brake. Ease the throttles forwards. And we're moving. Where does this road go? Sorry, where does this road go? Okay, while we're taxiing out, we'll extend the wings. We'll try some flaps out, see if they work. Yes, they do. Trying the rudder out and the nose wheel steering as well, and ailerons. Yeah, you get elevons, don't you, in the Tornado? Someone's asking, are they Eurofighter Typhoons parked up? Yes, they are, lots of them. We're at Coningsby, which is where they are based in the UK. So I'm sorry I'm going so slowly, I'm just trying to get a hang of everything. This is the first time I've taxied it, so I have no idea what I'm doing. Trying to figure out what controls are working, what aren't. What warnings I'm getting. I think I'm getting a radar altitude warning, literally because we're on the ground. I think it will go out, and we're hoping it will go out once we're in the air. So yeah, there's quite a few disappointments. This is obviously a version 1.0, but for example, you look in the checklists, there's lots and lots, but none of them point you towards where things are at all. And the reference guide, although there's hundreds of pages of it, it's very poorly laid out. It's quite a shock, really. But that said, It's a tornado! And it does appear to be accurately simulated. There is a proviso in the instructions that it is simulated in a clean configuration, because Flight Simulator does not simulate changing loadouts, the shape of the aeroplane or the configuration of the aeroplane changing while you're in flight. Right, let's see how we go. Quite a strong crosswind. Should we do this from outside? Or not? No, I need to stay in here to see what's going on. I need to keep my head out of the seat rest as well. Oh, was that? They've simulated the shockwave for the sound barrier. Okay, let's put reheat on. Yep, we've gone supersonic. How cool is that? Okay, let's slow back down again. We've also got flutter simulated on the wings. And they've got some trails from the edges of the wings. Very cool. So I've completely lost my bearings on where we are, so I'm going to cheat slightly. Okay. Let's slow down a bit.
.500 knots.
See, that's interesting because that said 450 at the point you said 500. Okay, we're back to... The wings are all the way back at the moment.
400 knots. Knots.
I'm just centering the view up and trimming. comes the wrong way. So we'll go in and have a first go at an approach and see how we get on. I think 200 knots at the moment. Just looking at that, the aircraft, or the HUD, is slightly off to one side. Going too fast, obviously, the wings don't want to stay back. Okay, I see what's going on. The flaps are influencing the wing sweep. Ah, I see what's happening now. So the flaps influence the wing sweep and the flap level. Okay, that makes sense. Let's go and have a look at the animation of the gear, by the way. Very good.
You are slow.
Yeah, that's on purpose. Wonder how accurate that velocity vector is. Flight Simulator is usually pretty woeful, isn't it, with the velocity vectors?
.500 feet. 350 feet.
Look at that turbulence kicking us around.
250 feet. 100 feet.
Whoa! Have we just collapsed the gear? I can't believe we got away with that. Apparently we did. Doesn't help that the Tobii Eye Tracker is being a so-and-so this evening, and it drifted alarmingly then while we were on our way in. And it's doing it again now. Look, it's sitting me down the whole time. I'm going to have to press F12 about 10 times a second to anchor it in place.
300 knots.
It's doing it now. You can see it. I'm sinking in the cockpit as I talk.
400 knots.
Okay, let's go west across the country. Whoa, we're starting to get compressibility happening.
$500 knots.
So I'm going to turn the weather back to just some high cloud because I think the wind is
knots.
making this more difficult than it needs to be for us for this first look at it. Actually, yeah, let's go with few clouds. Maybe I should trim this out before I start looking around. That's shifting, isn't it? We haven't even got the afterburner on yet. Now we have. I'm having to trim the entire time. The speed is affecting it quite enormously. But it is very stable, look. Let's turn the engines down a bit. I imagine we were starting to overheat the aeroplane doing that. Oh no, it's the fuel. So we're going to cheat for today's purposes and put some more fuel in. Yeah, we're almost running out of fuel, look, in that very short amount of time. It's interesting, I watched a documentary years ago with a simulated NATO exercise, and there was a Tornado F3, is it? The high altitude interceptor variant was tracking obviously a pretend adversary, and it set off across the sky going flat out towards the adversary, and the controller basically told the television presenter that in a real situation, if it was a serious threat, they would go flat out and basically use the aeroplane up, depending on if it was a serious enough threat, like a bomber of some description. And they'd get the aeroplane to go flat out as far as it could, as fast as it could, fire its missiles, and basically eject. But obviously it's dependent on the scale of the threat. This is so fast, isn't it? Should we get a little bit of altitude? Someone's asking, is the reverse thrust modelled? Well, I can't really tell in the air, can I? But I think it may be. Apparently the cockpit reflects the IDS variant of the Tornado. Have we used that fuel up already? Let's go and have a look. No, we've got quite a lot in main still. So let's see where we are in the country. Heading west. You can guess where we're going, can't you? Over to the Mac loop. It has to be done. Yeah, so the internals of this are the IDS variant. The external model, you get the GR1, the IDS, and there's another one as well, I can't remember. The probe and everything works. I'm not sure, obviously, if you can actually refuel it in the air, but you can certainly simulate extending it and playing with pumping fuel around the aircraft. Apparently the GR1 or the RAF pilots have a slightly different model of helmet than the IDS pilots use. So Rachel is asking, what are the stall characteristics like? Shall we find out? So, if I... First of all, we'll try with the wings back first.
$15,000 feet.
So at 240 knots, it's starting to warn us about speed. I'm about 50% backstick, and it's just mushing down. Full backstick at 100 knots, and it's just falling. I don't know if we get any contrails to see. if I let go, it just falls back. Okay, so let's go and extend the wings. So 180 knots. We haven't got any flaps out yet. This is just a clean configuration. So about 40-50% backstick, 60, 80, and it's dropping the right wing, but it's not rolling over.
15,000 feet.
What if we kick some rudder in with it? Can we get it to depart? No, we can't. Let it get a little bit of speed back up.
Feet.
So what about in a turn if we cause it to stall? With a bit of rudder as well, just to help it.
10,000 feet.
Can we get it to flat spin? No, you can get it back out of it very easily.
Retract flaps. $5,000 feet. 300 knots.
Okay, let's go back over towards Wales then. Have a little look at the map. So just coming over the border into Wales. Going to go across Snowdonia and then double back in towards the Mac Loop. The sound is pretty good. So from the front it sounds a bit odd, but it probably would. From behind, and you certainly know about it if you open the engines up. So having seen tornadoes at air shows, I can verify that they do sound exactly like that. So we'll go out past Barmouth and then come back in up the estuary, double back into the Mac Loop through that entrance in. I find it the easiest way normally to think about. So have they implemented the HUD modes? I don't think they have. But obviously they can't really, because you're not allowed weapon systems in Flight Simulator. Okay, should we start slowing down? Oh, we've got a little way to go yet. The spoilers are like, I haven't checked that. Very cool. Can you hear them from inside? Yes. Visibility isn't great, but then the real thing isn't. So
400 knots.
guessing about 350 knots will be about the right kind of speed to go into the Mach loop with it, till you get used to it.
knots.
He says, see, this is interesting, look, because this is reading 350 up here. And 350 there. I don't believe the readouts. Can we turn them off? So I've turned off the WSO voice messages. So we'll go by the indicated airspeed. So here comes the seat. Let's just check how much fuel we've got left after rocketing across the countryside. Because we didn't have tanks. Look, yeah, we're quite... Oh, we got half of the main tanks. So about 600 gallons. Probably enough to do a lap of the Mach loop. So you're saying the weapon system officer was reading out true airspeed versus indicated. I would rather know indicated, to be honest. You'd think with the size of the tailplane on the Tornado that you'd have a lot of rudder authority to do knife edge, but you don't. So I think that should be land better over there. Or we're flying straight toward... No, we're going to fly over the top of it. And then we're going to turn in at Barmouth. .70 knots is probably pretty good. Okay, I need to start concentrating. I'm just going to sit up in my chair. Apologies for jumping around the cockpit. Edging towards 400 knots. So we're going to double back in a moment. Right about after this ridge, I think. There's the entrance over there, just behind that ridge. There it is. So if we come back this way, there's the entrance. So we've lost a lot of speed. Coming in towards Corris. frame really gets in your way of the cockpit. It's a big heavy lump. Yeah, there's no way you can make these turns if you get too close. It's just not that sort of aeroplane, I'm afraid. It doesn't want to make these turns at all. Going far too fast. Go. So we could go around for another go if you want, but I think we haven't got the fuel for it. So we'll make a slow trip up to Valley. Fly straight out of the end. Haven't got a lot of fuel left. So we're heading up to RAF Valley on Anglesey. hopefully get there without running out of fuel. And hopefully land in one piece as well. It's got a proper crackle if you wind the engines up. I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, it's loud. I've got the scenery for RAF Valley from FlightSim.2, so it should be fairly representative. Which way is the wind today? Oh, of course we turned the proper weather off, didn't we? So we should have a fairly smooth run-in. I've not played around with the guidance systems on this yet, but as far as I understand, you can operate the HSI. Yeah, it's down here, look. So if you put it in nav mode, I guess you just need to tune it in. But I don't know where you do that just yet. Everything's a bit foreign in this aircraft at the moment. I think you might have to actually ask the guy in the back to tune it in for you. They have been very forthcoming in the documentation, saying there are bits and pieces of this that aren't implemented yet. So I imagine there will be some serious updates to it over time. Should go in over the coast, make it a bit more fun, a bit more scenic. So just touching on 500 knots. Let's slow down a bit. RAF Valley's just coming. To be a bit more careful this time than we were last time. So we've just extended the leading edge and the trailing edge to give us a bit more lift. Let's bleed a bit more speed off and then we'll drop the flaps and the gear. So if it does go wrong, we'll just go round. I think we've got enough fuel. A little bit low on the glide slope. But low is good because it gives us a lower descent rate for this first or second proper go at landing. We got away with it. So I wonder what's parked at Valley today. It's a bit quieter in here, isn't it? Look where I'm going, really. Oh, there's a couple of F-15s, okay. And there's some Tucanos over there, I think. park in between them. Just to wind them up. So if you remember, we've actually got two modes for the nose wheel steering. We're on low at the moment, which is probably enough actually. Yeah, it's easily enough. Okay, I have no idea. Oh, I think you can shut the engines down just by clicking here. There we go. And then we can... So obviously you can... There's a proper procedure to shutting this thing down. I've just literally pulled the plug on the engines. So if we go to the ground crew, we can
Roger.
Go and put everything back in place. He says, oh, it didn't put the ladder back. That's interesting. Maybe you have to turn the power off for that to happen. What are those F-15 pilots doing over there? One's having an argument on the phone, the other one's dancing about waiting for him. Brilliant. Anyway, obviously there's a ton to learn with this aeroplane, but hopefully you enjoyed that. So we just had a quick look at it and manhandled it into the air and haven't looked at any of the proper procedures yet. So, and there's, yeah, like I said, there's a lot to look at around this cockpit. Most of the switches work. Whether they actually work is another question, but a lot seems to be operable. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to learn our way around it. And again, same goes for the back seat. If we scoot round to the co-pilot, so a lot of this works. Obviously, whether it works in the way that the real thing works, again, is a completely different question. But there's a lot in here to play with, including these quite novel displays that they've rendered up. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. I'll see you again soon. This was the IndiaFoxtEcho Tornado GR1 in Flight Simulator. Okay, I'll see you again soon. Take care.